So, you're gearing up for the HSK Level 4 exam. You probably know it's a pretty big deal. But what does the test actually look like when you sit down to take it? Well, today we're going to decode the entire thing, section by section, giving you a strategic map so you can walk in feeling confident. Let's dive right in. But before we get into the nuts and bolts, let's just take a step back. What's this all for? I mean, passing this test isn't just about getting a piece of paper, right? It's about showing that you can actually handle a whole range of topics and have a real conversation with native speakers. That's the real goal. And the HSK4 is a huge step on that journey. Here's our game plan for today. First, we'll get that big picture view of the HSK4. Then, we're going to dive deep into each of the main challenges: listening, reading, and writing. And to finish up, we'll pull it all together and talk about the key skills you absolutely need to master to succeed. All right, first up, the 30,000-foot view. Understanding the structure and the timing, that's your first secret weapon. So let's break this whole thing down minute by minute. Okay, so the test is split into 3 main chunks. You kick things off with listening, 45 questions crammed into about 30 minutes. Then, boom, you're straight into the reading section. And this one is a real race against the clock. You've got 40 questions and only 40 minutes. Finally, you get to the writing part, which is 15 questions in 25 minutes. Oh, and here's a super important tip. After the listening audio stops, you get 5 extra minutes just to fill in your answers on the card. Don't forget that. So when you add it all up, including about 5 minutes at the very beginning to fill out your personal info, you're looking at a 105-minute test. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Knowing that total time is really key to keeping your focus and energy up from start to finish. Okay, let's jump into our first big hurdle, the listening challenge. This whole section is about one thing. Can you understand spoken Chinese as it's happening in real time? Because you only get to hear everything once. No repeats, no do-overs. The listening section kind of comes in 3 flavors. First, they'll play a short recording, and you just have to decide if a statement about it is true or false. Simple enough. Then you'll hear short 2-line conversations and have to pick the right answer from multiple choices. And finally, the conversations get longer, maybe 4 or 5 lines, and you'll have more multiple choice questions to tackle. Let's actually walk through an example. So imagine you hear this. My wife wants to lose weight, so she rides a horse every morning. As a result, the horse lost 20 pounds in 1 month. Then you see the statement, the wife was very successful in losing weight. So what do you think? True or false? Of course it's false. And this is a classic HSK trick. They're testing if you caught the specific detail, that the horse lost the weight, not the wife. Next up, it's time for the reading gauntlet. This section is where all those hours you spent studying your 1,200-word vocabulary list and memorizing grammar patterns, this is where it all pays off. It's a direct test of that foundational knowledge. The reading section also has 3 parts. It starts you off with some fill-in-the-blanks using a word bank. Then it throws what is, for many people, a real curveball. You have to arrange jumbled parts of a sentence into the correct logical order. And finally, you'll read short passages and answer comprehension questions. This sentence ordering task isn't just a random puzzle. It's all about logical flow. The trick is to find the main idea first. So, looking at these, sentence B is our topic. I've read this report twice, the quality is very high. Okay, now what supports that? Sentence A. Both the content and the language are ideal. And what's the logical conclusion or next action? Sentence C. Print a few copies for colleagues to see. So the only order that makes sense is B, A, C. For this last part of the reading section, you need to think like a detective. Your job is to find the evidence. So the passage says that with car racing, quote, danger can occur. The question asks what we can conclude about car racing. Well, the answer, B, extremely dangerous, is right there, directly supported by that phrase in the text. The strategy is simple. Don't guess. Find the proof in the passage that backs up your answer. All right, deep breath. We've made it to the final section, the writing test. After all that listening and reading and absorbing information, this is your chance to actually produce the language yourself. The writing section has 2 different tasks. For the first one, they give you a bunch of scrambled words, and your job is to put them back into a complete, grammatically correct sentence. The second part gets a bit more creative. You'll see a picture and be given a specific word, and you have to write 1 sentence about the picture that uses that word correctly. For example, you might see this picture. We've got 2 people looking under the hood of a car, and the word they give you is "修," which, as you know, means to fix or to repair. So you just need to put those 2 things together, the picture and the word. And honestly, a perfect answer here is super simple and direct. 他在修车, he is fixing the car. This shows you the most important secret of the writing section. They are not looking for poetry. They just want to know one thing. Can you write a single, correct sentence using the word they gave you in the right context? Simple is safe, simple is perfect. So, we've just done a complete walkthrough of the entire exam. We've seen all the different parts. Now, let's bring it all together and really focus on the core skills you need to be sharpening for test day. When you really boil it all down, the whole test is checking for these 5 core skills. You've got vocabulary depth and grammatical accuracy. That's the foundation for everything in the reading and writing sections. Then there's contextual understanding. That's the whole listening game, catching those tricky little details. Information synthesis is about connecting the dots in the reading passages. And the big one, the one that ties everything together, is time management. Remember that reading section? 1 minute per question. Your pacing is absolutely crucial. So there you have it. We've laid out the entire map of the HSK Level 4 exam. You know the terrain, you know the challenges, and you know the skills you need to succeed. The only real question left is, where are you going to take your Chinese journey from here? Good luck with your studies, and I'll see you next time.